with another installment of Wealth on Purpose. And let's see, while we get this going, I'm going to make sure I'm trying to do a broadcast with YouTube and Facebook Live. So we're going to see how this works out, all right, at the same time. Because you know, YouTube now has a function that will allow you to do a go live. So let me see some here, see what's going on with the camera here. Because this is kind of new at YouTube. But hey, I wanted to come on either way and talk about the connection factor, okay? When you're building wealth on purpose, we're talking about the connection factor. So what I mean by connection factors, we're going to discuss that in just a few moments. Now, as I see Facebook Live, I see folks logging on, and I want to say hello. And I want you to share this video out also. Hello, Robert McCoy. Hello, David Buckner. Now, let's see. Now, where I am in the far east right now, so the time here is just a little after 8 o'clock a.m. That means if you're in the East Coast of the United States, it's probably about 7 o'clock p.m. I think that's correct, if my watch is right. So I have to check my watch because I had it locked up for a while, so I need to make sure that the time is right on my watch. So, but with that being the case, folks, you can correct me on the time, but I wanted to talk about the connection factor. All right. Now, the connection factor is all about people connecting for a purpose. All right. And the thing about it is, we're going to talk about some things. Actually, let's see. I think it should be about what, 10? No, it should be. No, that's about. Who's on the East Coast? What time is it on the East Coast? I want to make sure my time is right. It should be about 8 o'clock here. It should be about 8:05 here where I am. So on the East Coast, it should be somewhere around 7 p.m. close to it. So, but good afternoon. Hey, Rob McCoy. Good afternoon, David Buckner. Now, so let's talk about the connection factor. Now, when I talk about the connection factor, then we're going to talk about gold. And I'm also doing Facebook, not Facebook Live, but YouTube Live also. So for my YouTube viewers, this is probably going to be the first segment that you've seen from me in a while. So we just call this the first installment of Wealth on Purpose for YouTube. Now, because wealth is built on purpose. Okay, thank you, David Buckner. So wealth is built on purpose, which means you have to do something to build wealth. Now, when I talk about wealth, I mean whether you're talking about wealth, you want health, you know, you have wealth and peace, sleep, but we're going to talk specifically about network and money. Okay, we're going to talk about real money, and when I say real money, I mean gold bullion. All right. So now, here's the thing. The reason why I call this the connection factor is I was kind of sitting around thinking, and something caught my attention on TV. There was a scene from a movie, and they were at a cemetery, and they were at a cemetery, and this one gentleman, he was a tough-looking guy, you know, and everybody had left the grave site, and this one gentleman, you know, he's like a tough guy, like a fighter and all that stuff. And he stayed there and he began to weep, you know. And I was like, wow, it's you know, to look at him and to look at his role in the movie and everything, you would not think he would be the one weeping, you know, because you know how you find those people who are the tough guys or the tough girls. And so, but then it dawned on me that when you're building wealth, the one thing you need is a network, and that network has to have people. If you're not a people person, you can still find a network that connects people through a system, but it will make you a people person, which is a good thing. You'll find out, you'll be proud of yourself. And the company that I'm going to particularly talk about right now is Carrot Bars International with Wealth Builders Worldwide. Is our company, our family of gold. And what we do is we actually save in gold bullion. Okay, pure 24 karat gold bullion, and we have cash gold, and we also now have a cryptocurrency that's going to be revealed. This is cash gold. Now, so let's go back to this movie. So what prompted me to do this is I realized that, see, if you want to think a little deep without getting too deep, we are all connected anyway. So millionaires and billionaires build networks. And the equation, the one thing that can't be missing from the equation is people. And having conversation with people. And that doesn't mean that you just go to someone and you start having a conversation just about, you dive right into it. You really sit and listen to people, because if you would sit and genuinely listen to people, you'll find that people are concerned. People are very concerned about what's going on with people worldwide, because again, we are connected. You know, technology makes us closer than ever. For example, I'm from Virginia. I live in Virginia, on the East Coast of Virginia, but right now I am in Japan. Okay, so the connection, we are a connected society, and there's actually a video on YouTube called "Are You a Connector?" And it talks about what we're talking about right now. Because of society, the world has gotten, because of technology, the world has gotten small. Okay, so that connects us. So, no, and this is what I'm saying. Hey, Terry McLean and James Head III and Destiny. Hello, Destiny McKinney. So now this is what I want you to understand. Now, we're going to get a little deep, but not too deep, okay? Because one thing we have to, you all know I do a segment on Sundays called Wealth on Purpose. The church, meaning the people, because that's what God cares about. He don't care about the building. It's the souls, it's the people, and money. And we have to have that conversation, because as I always tell you, God's intention for the church was never to be the tail. We're supposed to be the head, not the tail, the lender and not the borrower. We're not supposed to be connected to government programs that tell us how we can talk about our God, okay? So, but one of the reasons why I do that, because we have to start having that conversation, because we can't do the things in the earth that we need to do if we don't have the money discussion. Now, money is not to rule us. We actually should rule the money, okay? But one of the things we said, so we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to allude to gold and why everyone who ever sees or hears a broadcast and this is being shared with absolutely needs to start acquiring gold, and I'm going to tell you how it's affordable. So let's go back to the connection factor. Now, whether you believe in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the God became flesh and dwelt among men, whether you believe that there was a Garden of Eden, whether you believe that Genesis is the beginning, talks about the beginning of the Bible, the world as we know it, I believe that. That's my foundation. Now, whether you believe or not, I want you to understand something. Whether you believe that or not, we are all connected. Because, and here's why. Remember I told you about the scene from the cemetery? Now, this is how you know we're all connected in reference to that scene from that movie. So we had this one part in the movie where the guy is weeping over the cemetery, over the grave, you know, and he's a tough guy, like I said. So then I started thinking, I said, wow. And a moment of inspiration came. The Lord gave me a moment of inspiration saying, this is why we're all connected. Because when we lose a loved one, and I always say when they graduate, if they knew the Lord, they graduated, you know. But when a loved one passes on, and we know that person, we feel sorrow. You know, the word says, weep with those who weep, rejoice with those who rejoice. But we feel sorrow in our heart. But however, a total stranger may see you in the funeral procession, and they may just kind of get a glance, but they're not as affected as we are. But however, you know we're connected because they will give it a glance. If you ever notice that, whether it's someone you know or someone that you don't know, and a funeral procession goes by, we always seem to take a glance because there's a connection there, whether we knew that person or not. It's a connection because we know that something has happened to someone's family, and we see the funeral procession. But we're all connected because if you go back and you go back and you go back and you go back, you know, we're all connected. We're all connected. We're connected to technology now, but we're connected to DNA. We're connected to our society. We're simply connected. Now, here, hey, Rachel Rose. So now here's the problem. And we can eliminate the problem with the connection, which stops the connection or slows the connection. It's like if you ever took a water hose, you pinched it, and it stops the currency, the flow. If it stops that, then what you need, that water net fulfillment, you won't get it. Then you let the water hose go, it comes rushing out. So here's the problem. Now the Bible says, okay, and since it's Sunday here in Japan, where I am right now, be here for a little while longer. The Bible says, it does not say money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. Now here's where this is going to tie in, because now there's enough on this planet for every single living being on this planet. And if we take care of it correctly, there's enough on this planet for every living creature. Fish, birds, animals, plants. If we take care of it like we were meant to take care of it, having dominion and taking care of it with responsibility, there is more than enough for every living thing on this planet. Okay, however, the love of money has caused certain people in society to set up a system that rules over the innocent and the weaker, or the less educated, and I won't say less educated because people are dumb, because people don't have the information yet. See, the lack of knowledge is what causes people to perish. And when they get that knowledge, if they don't apply that knowledge, it causes people to perish. So what happened is now there's a system in that connection that connection became broken. It's like a short. And you ever had your phone cord? It's like, my phone won't charge. And then you realize part of the wire is frayed or broken because there's a part of that connection that's been frayed. And in society, that fray has come. There's a beautiful hawk flying on my balcony. And sorry, I love the nature. I'm looking at the mountains over here out of my balcony. So anyway, but the connection is broken because there's a certain sector in society that has gone against the will and the plan of God. Because everyone, he told us to have dominion over the earth, and as we're connected, everyone would be able to have the supplies and the food and the things that they need. And if you would look back, the food would even be healthier if this certain sector hadn't found a way to control the connection. Now hear me, watch this. So what happened is certain section that love money began to think of ways to rule over those who simply needed money. Because the Bible also tells us money answers all things. But when you have a sector or a group of people who deem themselves superior, and this happens with all colors. It does. It's not just, we're not talking just white supremacy. We're talking about those who want to do good versus those who want to manipulate. That's what we're talking about, disconnection. So what happened when that group of people deem themselves superior or deem themselves to be rulers over others, then they find a way to manipulate the system. And when they manipulated the system, they started breaking the connection. Now remember, earlier I told you that there's enough on this entire planet. I'm in Japan, I'm looking over at the mountains, Mount Fuji. I can see that when it's a clear day. I can see the harbor and all these beautiful things. And then I can come home to Virginia and I can see the beaches, because I love beaches, and there's beaches everywhere in Virginia, especially where I live on the east coast of the Newport News. Florida, some of you live in Florida, wherever you live, there's all kinds of beautiful things that man did not create. And so but all of that gives us the supplies of everything we need. The plants and the trees we're destroying, that's our oxygen filter, okay? We give them carbon dioxide, they give us oxygen. So again, there's another connection. Systems were created by God in the earth. Systems that give us food, that give us air, that keep us protected from the sun rays, that gives us, there's all types of systems. And they're all connected, but when we break the connection, it causes something to happen. Now, I believe that's why the Bible said the earth moans and groans, because of the blood that's shed, because the connection was broken. Okay, now we're not talking about the blood that was shed in war, because if you ever read the Bible, contrary to most people believe, God ordained war for certain reasons. Because there were a group of people, even then, who broke the connection and didn't want to follow the rules, and it caused chaos in the earth. So the connection factor proves that we are all definitely connected. Okay, we're all connected. Now, here's what has to happen. Hey, sweetie, hey, brother, this is my brother Michael. Hello, Donna Cooper. In order to build wealth, it has to be done on purpose. Now, Albert Einstein said something that's really biblical. He said, nothing changes until you change this. The Bible tells you to renew your mind. Take on the mind of Christ and renew your mind. Same thing. See, and then also, with that being the case, we have to understand that if you're going to build, and you're going to build for the good, and you want to build wealth because your children's children, the Bible did not give you a choice. It said you are to leave a legacy for your children's children. Okay? But even outside the Bible, you should still be willing to do that. You should not want your children to figure out how to bury you. Because guess what? We all have two things in common. We're born and we're going to pass away. So how you spend your dash in the middle should be productive. And here's the other part, that the connectors, those who broke the connection or frayed the connection, put a short in the connection because they wanted to control everything. What they also failed to do, what they made you realize is that we are supposed to have life and that more abundantly. See, Jesus said, I have come to give you life and that more abundant. So what does that mean? I want you to live, and I want you to live and enjoy what I've created here. I want you to be able to have the right foods. I want you to be able to see the beauty of the earth. I want you to be able to do things for people. First of all, I want you to be concerned about souls. That is our that is our destiny. That is if we're not concerned about that, everything else pales. Except you build a church by the Lord, you build it in vain. Okay? The people must be built with the word. It must be built with the proper direction, not manipulation. So we see the connection is broken. So when the connection factor has been broken, then the system begins to fray and fall apart. And then we have pollution in there. We have people dominating over other people. We have violence in all sectors. From there's good cops, there's bad cops, there's good doctors, there's bad doctors. There's all sectors because the connection is broke. But everybody's still trying to do one thing. They're trying to survive. So we still are connected because we're trying to survive. No one's just walking around like a zombie. But when the connection is broken, they get on substances that the body was never created to take in, they become like that. So again, we are connected. The connection factor keeps us or breaks us. But when you decide that you want wealth on purpose, because like I say, wealth is built on purpose, you have to do something. And you need to take the precious commodity that you have and be concerned about people, have empathy, have compassion. Don't judge people because you never know what a person is going through. Okay, so part of the connection is to have the mindset of compassion, to have a mindset where you reap what you sow. So what I mean by that, you sow good seeds of goodness, of helping, of compassion, of empathy, not judging people because you don't have a clue what they're going through, then you reap the same thing. Okay? So all these things are connections. Connections. Now, so we know now that we're all connected, whether we want to look at it or not. If you look deeper, and we can go very deep, and I'm not going to do that. But when you look at the entire structure of us as a human race, and here's another thing I want to get you all to understand. You all know my belief. My foundation is biblical, okay? I'm not going to debate it. That's just my foundation. I'm not going to have you debate yours because whatever your foundation is, you have a choice, and I respect that. But with my foundation, let me explain something. My foundation says to me that people are all one thing. Let me explain this to you. Nowhere in the Bible will you see where God said white race, black race, Asian race. He never separates people by races. It's not in there. You can go from Genesis to Revelation. You're not finding it. The system did this. Those who wanted to fray the connection did this. Let me explain to you, okay? So, watch this. Whenever you go from Genesis to Revelation, you'll see one how should I say? One thing that takes that kind of parts the definition of who we are as human, and that's aliens. And the aliens, not space people, were those who did not want to follow God's rules. Okay? But other than that, we're all considered the human race. So the connection was broken when people decided to bring race into the issue. Now, but let's get back, let's stay on track. But I want you to understand we're still connected. There are systems in the earth that are connected. There are systems in our body, respiratory system, circulatory system, digestive system, nervous system. All systems that work together create prosperity. When something happens with your nervous system, your digestive system, your neurological system, your circulatory system, if something happens to any other systems in the body sends a signal out and lets you know, because this body is designed to work together. The systems are designed to work, but when we do something to it that frays the system, causes a short in the wire, then something goes wrong. So now, with that being the case, that's where we're going to allude to networks. We have to first be willing to understand that no matter what we think, we need to build wealth. We need to build wealth. I already told you that we're under a system that was designed in 1917, the education system. Public education was an experiment, and it taught us to do exactly what we do, to work for someone till we are tired or till we die. Warren Buffett said, if you do not find a way to create residual income while you sleep, passive residual income, you will work for someone till you die. That's not life and life more abundantly. But we've attributed to it because we've been programmed. So we can be deprogrammed. And that you do that by connecting with people who are on the same mindset. Okay, watch what you listen to. Watch, speak, where you go. The Bible tells us, protect your eye gates, your ear gates. Power of life and death in the tongue. Okay? Iron sharpens iron. You know, iron sharpens iron. Or how they say, birds of a feather flock together. So if you want to change your life for the better, get connected. Use the connection factor and get connected with people who think like you think. Then you begin to learn the language of wealth, which everyone needs to do. We need to learn the language of wealth so we can, one, have it. So we can be the lender, not the borrower, the head and not the tail. Because even the gospel, so whatever your belief is, I hope that everyone's belief is to do something great and good for people. Not to do something bad and immoral and unjust. But if you look at the gospel, our first function is worship our God, of course. Spread the good news. That you don't have to you don't have to go through all this. If you connect and stay connected, you know. So if we understand the connection and to get connected, then we get connected to a group of people and a system. Save yourself time, effort, money. That's a system. Okay? And entrepreneurs understand it because you get connected to a system. And then by connecting to that system, you start to learn the language of wealth. Because see, poverty is a language also. Poverty is a language and a lifestyle, just like wealth is a language and a lifestyle. You choose which one you want to learn, and that's where you live. Look at your closest 5 friends or the closest people you hang around and see what their mentality is. That's your future. If you're hanging out and partying, and we've all done some of that. we saw what our life was. That's all we wanted to do. That was the system we were connected to. But when you took the connection factor and thought about it again, said, you know what, I want to change my life, and you begin to hang around people who sharpen you. Those who, you always want to connect to someone who's doing more than you. If you're connected with people on the same level, you're both, it's like the blind leading the blind. Now, don't get me wrong, because you want to be with people on the level that's talking the good talk, but you all want to be connected with a mentor. Someone who's been there, done that, and can teach you how not to make the mistakes. Humble yourself. Be teachable. Okay? So now, with that being said, we know we need to build wealth. There's no question about it. Okay? And for those who think that talking about money in business and scripture should be separate, you're absolutely wrong. Jesus talked about money more than anything in the word. Look it up. Because he knew it was the one thing that would keep our hands closed so we couldn't give, but no, could we receive. So that's why. And he knew, he said, money answers all things. Rent due, car payment, whatever, sick, need medicine, food, money answers all things. So now we're going to allude into what is money. All right? So let's talk about what is money. We talked about a connection factor, so we all understand it. Can we agree that we all understand? All right, so all over the world, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you some things that are not money. And then I'm going to show you some things that are absolutely money. Okay? So now, I'm going to give you a brief history lesson for those who are new on this broadcast. Now, I want you to share this out and get back with the person who shared this with you. Because once you get back with the person who shared this with you, you will understand how to build your wealth starting today. All right? So now, and you can start literally today, affordable. Now, once upon a time, and not too far distant, but before I was born, there was a time when everyone got 100% of their paycheck. There was no public schools. Families had a business or worked on a farm. Everyone ate well. Everyone respected everyone to a large degree. And then there came along people who decided that they wanted to hoard the wealth of the earth. And they schemed to come along with a plan to take over the monetary system of the earth. You can look them up. They were called Red Shield bankers, the Rothschilds, and they were very powerful, and they still exist today. Okay? And so we're just going to go through this story really quick. So in a long story short, what they came up with was an idea to take the Red Shield bankers. The Red Shield bankers were so wealthy that they financed kings and queens. And they have been documented to saying that they financed both sides of every war, and to this same day, their descendants have said the same thing. So the system, again, the connection factor has been broken. But we're gonna allude to money because you need to know what money is. So along with that, what happened with the Red Shield bankers, they later became the Rothschilds, and then they became some of the wealthiest people on the earth. Now, somewhere around 1910, some of these people who love money, remember I told you the Bible said the love of money is the root of all evil, not money. But these people who love money and wanted to have more of it, and they wanted power. What they did was they said, hey, okay, you're doing oil business, you got railroads and steel, you have this, and they were enemies because they were all rooting to be the richest person in the earth. And so one of them came together and said, hey, his name is J.P. Morgan. He said, I need you all to come together, and I need you to take my private car. And you're going to meet at a place we call Jekyll Island, which is off the coast of Georgia, and they still exist today. There's a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island. You can also see the YouTube video. So what they said was this. He said, I want you to come, and I want you to come separately. Do not use your real names and disguise yourself. Why? Because in that day, the reporters hung up at the train stations. And if they saw them together and they weren't disguised, they would know something was afoot. Something was going on. So they did that. They followed the instruction, and they met on this island. And what they formed was something we all know and think is owned by the government, but it's not. It's a private institution that has created trillions of dollars for these people's families. It's called the Federal Reserve Banking System. It's not a banking system. It's not federal. It is not even constitutional. And by definition, because all these different entities come together, if you've ever seen Narcos or anything about Pablo Escobar, they did the same thing. And what they did was they came together with different cartels for a certain purpose, from this zone, this region, this region. So the Federal Reserve, by definition, is an illegal cartel. Okay? So then what they did is somewhere around 1910, they said, okay, we're going to put this plan into play. Because they had tried it before. Even back in Thomas Jefferson's day, they tried it before to create a central bank. Thomas Jefferson warned, if you do this, the very property that God gave your children, they have to give it up to the government. In so many words, that's what he said. Okay? And they stopped it. They stopped it more than one time. They're like a lion, they sat and they watched. And they pounced. So right around 1910, what they did was, hey, Cousin Gladys, what they did was they did this. And so I think this is now the time to strike. We got a man in office that's the president, and we have all the things in place. So what they did was they met and they came up with the Federal Reserve banking system. Somewhere around December of 1913, they put it online. So what the Federal Reserve's job was, one was to control the monetary system of the earth and to come off the gold standard, okay, where you would get paid in a gold certificate or silver certificate. You would trade that in for gold or silver because that's where the wealth was, because gold and silver is actually money. So then what they did was they took that system, they came live with it. It went live, okay? And it's been in operation ever since. So when you look at your money, your currency, at the top of it, this may be backwards to some of you, it says Federal Reserve Note. Let me tell you why that happened. Because along with this entity, they say, okay, this is what's going to happen. Now the government is going to have to come to us to get a loan. Hey, Mr. Ruffin, the government will come to us to get a loan. Now we have to find a way to charge them interest. I got it, they said. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create an entity called the IRS, Internal Revenue Service. Internal, bringing the revenue back into the system. Okay? So what the IRS was for is, this is what they said. Okay, so we're going to loan the government money. They're going to have to owe interest on that. So we create the IRS, and we're going to create a note, a bill, and put the bill on the people. So we collect taxes from the people, and they will pay the note. Okay? So that is the IRS. So now you have that entity in place. So now, because of that, countries and currencies around the world are collapsing, because in 1971, the final nail was put in the coffin to take us off the gold standard, which was supposed to be temporary. And because it's not pegged by gold. Now, why am I keep saying gold? For those of you who don't understand, gold is money. Everything else is credit. Okay? J.P. Morgan said that when you have gold, you will never be broke. This is 5 grams of pure 24-karat bullion. This is 1 gram, highly affordable to anyone listening. This is cash gold. Okay? Now, so let's talk about what's money and what's not money right quick, okay? This is not money. Whether you want to pull your hair out and fuss with me or not, this is not money. Why? Because the definition of money, two things that money has to do that this absolutely does not do that makes it a fiat currency. Money has to be a store of wealth over a period of time. Since this was created, it has not gained in value. Money also have to instant return system like that. Money also has to outpace inflation. Well, we can see what's going on with that with the stock market. And if you have 401k TSPs, you are losing money while you sleep right now. You're not gaining money while you sleep, which is why you need to connect with the system that allows you to do that. You're losing it. So you don't have to worry about the fees and stuff when people say, take your money out the 401k and start a business. You don't have to worry about it because the government is taking it for you. Not just the government, but those who control the fees. Go to YouTube and look for the 60 Minutes, you know, the news show, 60 Minutes 401k Fallout. If you got a 401k, it ought to terrify you, okay? I'm just trying to help you here, all right? So I can show you, so all over the world, this is 5,000 yen. This is Japanese. This is 5,000 yen, okay? So this is probably, this is about 40, 45, almost $50, okay? Then we have them in all fiat currencies. None of them paid to gold. This is a debit card, okay? Debit card, MasterCard. It's still not money, but it is something incredible about that we're going to talk about. However, this is money. Out of all the things I've shown you, this is the only one that is money. This is money because of the gold ingots in it. So, with that being the case, here's the recommendation. And one of my English teachers used to say this before we have a test, and she was reviewing, she would say, word to the wise would be sufficient. So we knew that the next thing she said, you might want to put that down and take notes. So word to the wise would be sufficient. Get gold and get gold now. Now, how do you get gold for those who don't own a salt grain of gold? Because remember something. Something's happening all over the world with the connection factor. Now, because America, hold on, let me stop that right now. Hold on. Okay, let me come back. Okay, sorry about that. One of my coworkers is trying to get in touch with me. Now, because of the fact that we're not on the gold standard anymore, it's caused another part of the connection factor to stop. And the whole world has been watching America print cash from thin air, which is devastating. Whenever you hear them talking about quantitative easing and they're doing it quantitative, I think we're in quantitative easing 4 now, and they're talking about shutting the government down because they're trying to put a band-aid on something that needs a tourniquet, and that's our economy. See, once this came off the gold standard, it started a free fall, And there's nothing you can do about it besides going back on the gold standard. So what does that mean? Whether you want to believe it or not, do your homework, research everything, this will collapse and become zero. So the solution is, what's money all over the planet? There you have it. Gold, okay? So now, but because of that, what happens, there are countries, there's an organization called BRICS, B-R-I-C-S, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. South America, South Africa, one of those two. They came up with an organization where they're saying, we don't want the dollar anymore. We're going to create a currency backed by gold. So this is happening all over the world. So I say that to say, gold is money all over the world. It has been for over 5,000 years. You want to start getting gold. So how do you do that? One, get back with the person who shared this video with you. All right? Take a look at Karat International. Now let me say this. I want you to we have a brilliant gentleman that says it's not emotion. It's not emotion, it's math. So what I want you to do is remove your emotions out of the next statement I'm going to say. Please, for the sake of your family and your future, do not let this become emotional what I'm about to say. No matter what type of business you have, I don't care whether you're a network marketing, which is brilliant, multi-level marketing, which is brilliant, you have your own business, which is brilliant, or you work for someone, which is brilliant, because we need to do what we need to do to finance our freedom. Okay? No matter what you're doing to earn, you need to get gold. So that's why I'm saying you need to connect with the person who shared this video with you, because they can show you how to sign up right now in less than 5 minutes, how to get a free physical gold savings account along with the website, no monthly fees, no sales, and there's two options. Someone who just wants to sell gold, I'm sorry, we don't sell anything, who wants to acquire gold. There's no sales in this business, okay? Or there's those who want to create residual income and earn free gold through the system by sharing with others. So if that's you, either one of those is you, sign up. Get with the person who shared this video with you. Sign up for free. Start acquiring as much gold as you want whenever you want, because everything's optional. Start acquiring cash gold, because one thing Karat now has is the only cryptocurrency on the earth that's going to be coming out soon that is pegged to pure gold, which stabilizes it. Okay? So the gold is real. It's pure 24 karat bullion. It's LBMA. Comes from London Bullion Market Accredited Refineries. Okay, do your homework, and then with that being the case, what you will start building a legacy, because guess what? When you get your first piece of gold, now 31 of these make an ounce. Okay, now this is a 1/10 gram of gold. You can go on your free website today when you follow the instructions and the steps that they will give you, the person who shared this with you, and you can acquire one of these for a little over $8. Now with the cryptocurrency coming out, what Karat has decided to do is gift you tokens. If you missed the Bitcoin, you missed the Litecoin, you missed all these big cryptocurrencies, they're here to stay. If you missed those, what you want to do is take a look at what's happening there, because where else can you go? You can go acquire gold, which means what? I have my wealth. And then every time you get one of these, they're going to give you 20 of those tokens. Every time you get 10 of these, they're going to give you 200 tokens. And then someone will show you how to transfer into your e-wallet and do all that kind of stuff, so you can prepare for what's coming. Because somewhere around the 1st of April, when that token goes live and becomes a coin, the sky's the limit. So think about it. You will have gold, and then you have tokens that were given to you for free. So you lose not. It's a win-win. So we talked about the connection factor. This is wealth on purpose. You want to do something on purpose to build wealth. You want to remove emotions from it, okay? Because emotions will cause you to be reactive instead of proactive. Right now, you need to be proactive and not have to be reactive when this thing falls apart. Whether it falls apart in our generation or the next, it will fall apart. But the handwriting on the wall shows that it will probably fall apart sooner than we realize within our time frame, within our generation. If not in the next months, within a year or two. It could happen in any day, because all it takes now is one tweet or one event to happen in the world. And then we're seeing that right now with the stock market going into a free fall frenzy. So as I've taught you in the past, that's why I don't do 401k. Okay, because it's 401 not okay. I do not do 401k. All right, 401k is described as a bucket with a hole in it. It's risky. I'd rather take what I would put into that and get physical gold. Now I want you to get physical gold. In my opinion, I'm not an expert. Okay, I'm not certified. I'm just telling you what I think and what I've seen. Okay, I look at the tree. If it has oranges on it, it's probably an orange tree. I look at this economy, it's falling apart. I look at what's happening with 401ks. I look at what's happening with the market, and anyone can see what's happening. So to me, it makes sense. Word to the wise would be sufficient to start getting physical gold. Now, why do I say physical gold? Why you saying, Ty, why are you not saying stock market? Because let me explain something, and then we'll be finished with this broadcast. So you can go ahead and sign up. Hey, Torrance Cherry and Brownell. So you can sign up and stop playing with your future and determine your future. So whenever you invest in the stock market, and in this particular case, we're going to talk about gold. It's called an ETF. It's traded under symbol, maybe GLD, ticker Trump symbol. But what happens is, what most people don't know is people are spending millions, hundreds of thousands on gold invested in the stock market and storage fees, which, by the way, care about storage will go for free until you're ready to have it shipped by FedEx. They're spending all this. What they do not realize is there's no physical gold there. Now, what's the big deal with that? First of all, would you go to a car dealership and say, or order a car and say, I'm going to get me a car and never get the car? Would you go and looking at houses and dreaming, and then when you're ready to buy one, go give someone hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, depending on where you are in life, and never get the house? Why would you do that with your monetary future? See, because we have life insurance, renter's insurance, house, car insurance, every kind of insurance, but we don't insure our money because FTC is not financial insurance. It only insures about 22 cents on the dollar. So you need to have insurance for your earnings by exchanging it for this. So this is what, when I talk about the stock market and gold, I don't have to be a genius to see that, first of all, there's no physical gold there, so why would I send you money, my hard-earned sweat, blood, tears, sweat equity? Why would I send you that for an illusion? Because that's all it is. Why would I send you that for a paper contract which you can cancel or change at any moment? Why would I do that when I have loved ones that I want to take care of, both now and when I'm gone? People don't get that. They don't understand. So let's just say there's 300 of us on this broadcast right now. And we all get together and we're going to go ahead and invest in the stock market, get some gold in the stock market. Remember I told you gold is not physically there. So let's say one of us says, I want my gold back. Or better yet, let's say all 300 of us say we want our gold back. Well, first of all, we're not going to get it because it's not there. They have to find the gold, liquidate the gold. That's what has to happen. And then if one of us gets it, one of us out of that 300 might get physical gold. And if you've ever noticed something happen, you go to the bank and try to get a large amount of money out of the bank. The reason why that happens is because they do not keep your cash in the bank. They have to find the money. Now, here's another thing, or three things I want you to remember, because this is all important. And I'm getting inspired by God to talk about it. I'm going to keep going, okay? This is all important. So first of all, whenever you deposit anything in the bank, let me show you, but I can tell you. This is a $1 bill. When I deposit this in the bank, they can create 9 out of thin air. It's called fractional reserve banking. That's what's causing our economy to go chaos. So why is it that when I go to the bank, and if I go to the bank and I say I want to deposit X amount of dollars into the bank, why don't they say, well, would you rather deposit or do you want to get physical gold? They're not going to do that because they don't want you to keep your wealth. They don't want you to build wealth. Okay, so you need to understand that. Second of all, you need to understand that when you deposit anything in the bank, you no longer legally own it by law. It's called the Dodd-Frank Act. The Dodd-Frank Act was passed in the middle of the night while most of us were asleep or watching Love and Basketball or whatever was keeping our attention that was profiting us nothing. Love and Basketball, all that crazy mess, all those reality TV shows which are not reality. But in the middle of the night, they passed the law. And if you ever watch the congressional channel, it's always done in the middle of the night when nobody's watching. Sneaky. And then you wake up and some law has been passed that has taken your wealth even further away from you. So you can't take care of your children. But this is what happened. The Dodd-Frank Act is called a bail-in. This is why. Do you remember in 2008 the fiasco that happened? Now, they called it a real estate collapse, but it really was a banking problem. What should have happened is our government should say, okay, enough is enough. They should have broken those banks up into small segments that could be regulated. But instead, they gave them a bunch of cash. They made them interest off the cash and paid the government back, and then they called it too big to fail because they're doing what they want to do, and they're doing it in a larger magnitude. So the Dodd-Frank Act, they came up with this idea, and they said, let's come up with an idea. And now watch this. Remember what I told you about the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money, but the love of money. And those who love money are definitely running the banking systems and the government. So this is what they did. They said, okay, we're going to do this. Let's come up with a law. We're going to talk about and debate, and we're going to pass it in the middle of the night while they're sleeping. We don't want them to know what we're doing. My pastor always says something. Pastor Dr. Gerard H. Ruff, 55 Time Mill Lane, Cornerstone Worship Center International. Hampton, Virginia. Y'all know I always do that. All right. So my pastor always said that. He said, the large print giveth and the small print taketh away. Okay? So the Dodd-Frank Act in small print says this. Whenever you deposit something in the bank, first you no longer legally own it. And the reason why they call it a bail-in, because this is what they're saying. And listen to the wording. This is what those who know what's going on in Washington causing it to happen, who are leaving the United States in droves. This is what they're saying. When, this is the key word, not if, when the dollar collapses, when the banks fail, we are going to use the people's deposit to try to save it. Okay? So remember, every time you deposit one single dollar, every dollar can create 9. Every time you deposit, no longer legally yours. That's why you can go back. You put $10,000 in the bank and go try to go back and get it tomorrow. They're going to tell you got to make an appointment to get it. They got to go gather it up, because what do they do with it? They go get assets, gold, hedge funds, real estate, particularly land. Okay? So why would you not do the same thing for yourself? See, because when you get paid, everybody gets paid. See, the number one rule of building wealth, pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. And I'm going to tell you why. Watch this, and everyone can relate to this. You get your paycheck. First of all, before you go home, you spent something. You get home and say, where did that money go? Okay? And then watch this. You get your paycheck, and you get home, you're like, what is all this? FICA, FICA, SICA, VACA, what are all this crazy mess? You just look down the list, and there's more and more. And you're like, what is all this? Everyone's getting paid before you, and you're doing the work. Everyone is getting their share out of you, and you're doing the work, and you want to pay yourself. So all those entities are getting wealth. Social Security, don't even think about it. It's gone. Okay? They're going to change the name of it. And what they're going to do, they're going to change the name of it and make it so the government can access it. So if you don't start becoming proactive, you're going to be forced to be reactive. Okay? My people perish for lack of knowledge. And all you're getting, get understanding. Stop debating and get an understanding of what is actually going on. It's not up for debate, because it's going to happen whether you like it or not. And all you're getting, get understanding. My people perish for lack of knowledge. As a man thinketh, male or female, thinketh in their heart, so is she. The issues of life flow out of the heart. So you think, the thing that affects you. So as you think, you have to change your think. George might say you got to get rid of stinking thinking. So as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The issues of life flow out of the heart. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Okay? So, we have to change the way we think. We have to have the money conversation. We can no longer do, it's two things. We have to have the money conversation, and we got to have the burial conversation. And my people, I love my people, but we never have that conversation until it's too late. Then we want to do a GoFundMe account, or we want to have a fish fry, some cars to raise money to do something we should be prepared to do. But when you have wealth, those things are taken care of. What people don't worry about insurance. They don't worry about medical bills. They don't worry about whether they're going to be in the house on the East Coast or the West Coast in Singapore or whatever. They don't worry about those things. So, hey, because the principles work if you work them. So I say all to say, why would you let everyone take from your earnings? You go out there and you do 40 hours or more a week. Okay? Now, I'm financing my future, my freedom for my wife and myself and my family. Okay? And my ministry, my ministry that I believe in, I'm financing, we're financing our future and our freedom. And I'm tenacious as a pit bull. I'm mean as a honey badger. I'm crazy like a pit bull. I'm crazy like a mongoose about this thing. Because I'm going to tell you something. Honey badger, one of the toughest, pound for pound, the toughest creature on the planet. Tenacious, will go get what they need, will survive. You have to be like the honey badger. Let me tell you about the honey badger. The honey badger will fight a lion, will fight a cobra, and his body is so adaptive, it's so tough that a cobra can bite it and it will go into a death-like state. And then it'll almost actually die and pop back up and keep going. You have to be like that. You have to survive. That's why I'm so tenacious about this thing, because I see the handwriting on the wall. I see the fruit just falling off the tree. And the apple tree is not bearing apples anymore, so something is wrong. Something is afoot. We're being hornswoggled. Okay? So the only way to change this for you and your family, is to see what's going on. Don't debate it. Don't make it emotional. It's not emotional, as Mr. Allen Austin said, Jr. said, was a brilliant man. It's not emotional. It's math. Hey, Dr. Patrice Gordon. How are you doing, sir? So, this is why I'm saying, getting back to the paycheck. If this don't hit home, the market is falling. Whether you like it or not, your 401k is disappearing. Like Mike Delco, one of our brilliant business partners, said, you don't have to worry about the government taking you don't have to worry about them taking your when you go get your 401k and they give you that penalty. They're already taking it. It's disappearing. Why would you keep feeding that monster? Maybe it's because you don't know that something else exists, something called care bonds that can help you take that and get financial freedom. Let me tell you about my company. Great company, but they don't give you an option when it comes to 401k. But I found one. When you're looking for it, you'll find it. So this is their policy. When you start to work for them, you have to get a 401k. But what they don't tell most people is you can set your deductions to 0. See, no one's going to control the finances that I'm working for but me. Okay? And with the wisdom of God, I'm going to do what he says to do with it. Okay? And you have to be that way because your future's determined by it. Your children's future's determined by it. If we are going to be here that long, if God sees fit and the creek don't rise, as the old folks used to say. All right? But all that you need to say, again, to that paycheck, look at all those deductions. How long are you going to continue to let everybody get paid before you? And then you don't even pay yourself. And as I said, you can look up and the next pay period comes along and you can look back and not hardly any of what you had was left. That's why I pay myself first. 2 things I do, my wife and I do, we're determined to do, no matter what's due, no matter what it looks like, we're going to tithe and give an offering. No matter what it looks like, we're doing that. Because I'm going to hold God to his word. It's the only place in the Bible God said, dare me to bless you. Prove me in this thing. And then we pay ourselves first. That's everything else can wait. Everything else can wait. The only thing that would take precedence over that is if she had something that happened to her health and we had to deal with it. Outside of it, we tithe and offering, not up for debate with us. Paying ourselves first, not up for debate. Blessing other people, not up for debate with us. Somehow, some way, we're going to bless people. It's not up to debate. We're going to do what we got to do because I'm trying to be a light in the earth. That's what we're trying to do. See, I don't have to go around speaking Bible. I can walk Bible. And let me say this. None of us are perfect and will never be on this planet. But we can try to go through the journey to get there and help people along the journey. So one of the things I know that I'm destined to do is build wealth and help people build wealth because we need it. As God is teaching me and I'm around great people like Mr. Tybus, Mr. Michael, Dr. Patrice Gordon, a genius linguist and pastor, Dr. Dennis Steigerwald, Sheila Abram, Willie and Sherry Brown. Mr. Brown's a genius comedian, ventriloquist. Rodney Berg and his wife, and so many more folks. I can keep going and going and going. Glenn Perkins, all of you on this broadcast. All these geniuses I know that are connected with Wealth Builders Worldwide, and those who are not, you're all geniuses. Okay? Because God said so. All right? God said so. So, but as I connect with them, I'm learning more how to do with wisdom. And all you're getting, get understanding. Ask for wisdom and God will give it to you. Okay? So with all that being the case, that is why I continue to do what I'm doing. That's why as for our house, we will serve the Lord and we'll be a blessing in the earth. Okay? And as you bless people, God will continue to bless you because it's just his word. He's not going to go against his word. So that's why we talked about the connection factor and then we let him to go because everything else, folks, learn this and do this. And I don't care what kind of business. I'm not going to tell you your business is not great because I love entrepreneurs. People who decide to step out and say, wait a minute, something's not right with this work thing. And they stepped out and decided to find a way to do for theirs, okay? And build wealth because you need that. And as for the churches, we have to have this conversation. It's not up for debate anymore. We have to not only talk about it, we can no longer just talk about bring ye all the tithes. We know that's the word. But we have to give the people a vehicle to be able to do that. If they don't have it, they're not going to bring it. But you get a person who's financially free, they give like a crazy person. Because they see something, their life is dim, the stress is gone. When Jesus said, I come to give you life and that more abundantly, that's what a person who's free, that's what they're able to do. They're able to go without all the strain. Mr. Mike Delco said something, I think it was almost 3 years ago, and that thing struck a chord in me. He said, when you get your freedom, your wealth really builds. And he can talk about it because almost 4 years now I think that he has not had to work for somebody because working the system. Now you have your network of people determine your net worth. So it may take a little longer, but stay the course. Stay the course, all right? As for men, as for the Banks estate, we will serve God and save gold. Yes, we will. That's what we're doing, folks. So hey, get back with the person who shared this with you. I appreciate you all hanging with me for almost an hour here. Coming from the coast of Japan, okay, to you in the United States or wherever you are in the world, you all have a blessed day or blessed evening. Let's see, it is 9 o'clock in the morning here, Sunday morning here where I am. That means it is 8 o'clock on the East Coast, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock a.m. No, 8 o'clock p.m. So I'm going to have a business meeting with the gentleman, and I'm going to take a nap so I can get up and watch my church that streams live on Facebook. Isn't technology great? So I can still be a part of my church service, Cornerstone Worship Center. So if you want to see that, because some of you know I share that, by the way. If you want to see that stream, you go to Cornerstone Assembly. This Cornerstone Worship Center. We have 2 Facebook pages. If you can't find, you don't see the live stream on Cornerstone Worship Center International. You'll see my pastor and his wife picture up there. Go to Cornerstone Assembly Facebook page. You'll see the live stream. It starts about 9:45 a.m. on the East Coast, all right? And if some of you have been tuned in, so you know it's a very, very, very great service, very down to earth. We love people. We love God. We believe and belong, and we're becoming what God wants us to be. So, and part of it is what God has us doing in the earth so we can help people, all right? So stay connected. Get gold. God bless you all. On behalf of myself and my beautiful wife, Patrice Banks, we love you all. If you have any questions, please inbox me. If someone shares it with you, get with them immediately. Do not delay the next step of building wealth and blessing yourself and people. Okay? Put your mask on first. Don't feel guilty about taking care of yourself and your family. You put your mask on first so you can breathe, and then you can help someone else. Both of you fall out, nobody can do anything. So stay blessed, all. We'll see you later. God bless.